Very good morning to good afternoon to all present over here. Dear students, थोड़ी देर में हम अपना जो IPR पे इवेंट है, it's a practical training कम expert talk वो हम करेंगे, बट उससे पहले जैसे ही हमारे एक्सपर्ट ज्वाइन करते हैं उससे पहले आपके लिए कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शन है कि प्लीज आप लोग अपना अपना म्यूजिक वगैरह बैक कुछ नहीं करोगे, ट्रेस हो जाओगे आप लोग कि कौन बोल रहे हो. एम आई ऑडिबल बेटे? Dear students, am I audible? You can write in the message that I am audible because you cannot speak. Yes, dear students, am I audible? Write in the chat box. Okay, अभी थोड़ी देर में हम इस इवेंट को शुरू करेंगे, तब तक प्लीज calm down and don't write useless talk in the chat box also. Okay, thank you so much for joining this event. Just give 2-3 minutes for the expert to join. A very good afternoon to all. Myself, Dr. H.K. Sidhu, on behalf of Desh Bhagat University, I welcome you all to this forum of expert talk come practical training on IP and youth innovative for a better future. So I thank the resource persons of the day, Dr. H.K. Sardana ji from he's retired from CSIR, CSIO, CSIR Chandigarh. I have another resource person, Mr. Karan Puri. I'm also thankful to Dr. Piyusha for supporting because this event is in association with the patent cell of Desh Bhagat University. I thank all the students and as well as the faculty who has joined this event. I'm thankful to the management. So, dear students, you know that we celebrate 26th of May as the World Intellectual Property Day. And as per this, entire week is now celebrated as this day. And Desh Bhagat University has also taken an initiative for the same. So today we are starting with the first day. And in the coming days, Dr. Piyusha from the patent cell is going to organize the event day by day. So, before going much into the detail, I just want to brief you about the event. The World Intellectual Property Day is to learn about the role that intellectual property rights play in encouraging innovation and creativity. World Intellectual Property 2022, it recognizes the huge potential of young people to find new and better solutions that support the transition towards to a better sustainable future. This year, the theme is IP and youth, innovating for a better future, and it celebrates youth-led innovation and creativity. You being the youth of the day are incredible and largely a very untapped source of ingenuity and creativity. This day is an opportunity for young people to find out how IP rights can support their goals, help transform their ideas into reality, generate income, create jobs, and make a positive impact on the world around them. With IP rights, young people have access to some of the key tools they need to advance their ambitions. Today's event, we have eminent personalities, Dr. H.K. Sardana ji, Mr. Karan Puri, who will show all of us the pathway of putting more and more so as to contribute in the said field and the youth to come out with innovative and novel ideas. So once again, I welcome the resource persons of the day and all the students and faculty who have joined this event. Now I introduce Mr. Amrinder Singh to kindly brief about Dr. H.K. Sardana ji.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all of you. Director, Faculty of Agriculture and Life Sciences, my dear colleagues and participants. Now let I introduce Dr. Harish Kumar Sardana. He has working as Chief Scientist at CSIR, Central Scientific Scientist Instruments Organization, Chandigarh. India, started his career in 1982 after completing his graduation in Electronics and Communication Engineering from REC Kurukshetra. During his career, he accomplished ME from PEC Chandigarh and PhD from the University of Nottingham at the UK in 1989 to 1993. He completed his PhD in the UK under Nehru Century British Fellowship Scholarship during 1990 to 93 in the area of image processing and pattern recognition. In 2001, he completed his MBA in Human Resource Management and Organization Behavior. He obtained merit in CSIR Leadership Development Program for middle to senior scientist in 2007 and has been a faculty for the same. He has supervised various graduate and PG students in electronics, instrumentation, and computer science and engineering fields. He has been a coordinator 2009 to 17 and a professor at Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, ACSIR CSIO Chandigarh. His interests include image processing, single image collaborative processing, pattern recognition, and machine intelligence. He has 20 granted patents and 7 pending to his credits. He has 16 PhDs completed and some are under process. He has about 130 publications in SCI journals and international conferences. I request Dr. H.K. Sardana to share your research expertise with us. Welcome, sir. Welcome to DVU.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I audible? Fine? Is it fine? Hello? Am I audible? Fine?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll share my presentation on the topic about intellectual property rights and protection. So just a minute.
Sorry, I also welcome Dr. A.K. Paul because he has been always supportive to us. Whenever I request sir, sir is always there to support us. Sir, I welcome you and thank you a lot.
Fine. Yeah. Yes. Good to see Dr. Paul also in the meeting. So is the screen fully visible and audible? My volume okay? Everything fine?
Sir, kindly increase little bit volume if possible. Screen is okay.
Okay. Better now? Somewhat better?
Yeah, sir, it's better. Better, sir.
Okay, so let me congratulate you that you are celebrating this particular IPR day, Policy Intellectual Property Week, everything. So it's good to see that this institution is taking initiative towards intellectual property. So my plan for today's discussion is to bring everybody towards, IPR and, not just plan for publications. See, part of your ideas, your initiatives could also be protected, and your students could also have, patents as alternative or rather parallel to publications. So this is what I am planning to share, and this is my own experience with some of my own students, PhD scholars who could also have publications and patents during their PhD. So this is the brief outline. So we will talk about IPR in general and why protecting IPR as such. And in IPR, I will talk largely about patent, although there are other IPR elements also possible. And few cases, 2 cases actually, as I said, from 2 PhD scholars, but largely one particular case which will make us learn good experiences that we had, and how such protections help you achieve some technological goals in the long run, and a bit of environment for leadership or those who are heading the institutions, what they should be doing to create such an environment of IPR, because IPR is slightly involved compared to publications. Okay, so what all we understand by intellectual property? What is it? So here it is to say that, see, whatever humans have ideas, innovations, novelties, these are some terms that we use, creativities. People are, when they are motivated, they do wonders, they do new things. And many new things may serve the society and make a lot of benefit to the society. So even once the society is benefited, then individuals should also be rewarded, or institutions should also be rewarded. Many times this reward may be financial, or it may be in terms of recognition. But these are various kinds of rewards. But in terms of what it is that one is that we will talk about today is patents. So there is a possibility of filing patents in the early stage. So if you see the title today, I have asked you to follow this early stage. And trademarks, you might have known in business, there are a lot of trademarks. Industrial designs, industries can also protect their designs. Even geographical indications, like for example, you have Banarsi something, sari, or you have this much of a particular variety of mango, and there are basmati rice. So copyrights for software and other poetry and other, creative communication to the society. There are many, so I am not going to talk about everything. Even layout for VLSI circuits, plant varieties, as I mentioned about agri products, and innovations of, creative expressions. So basically, there are many ways. So today we will talk about patents because they come largely obvious to uh, PhD scholars, supervisors, guides, even during their MTech or graduation programs, but largely, at least during PhD when there is enough time. So anytime a student can, if you recognize their creativity, or you and a student together, if you feel as a team have hit some idea, then yes, why not? Why not protect it legally? So it's a techno-legal kind of process that we are talking about, hoping that you understand technology. Tomorrow it will become a technology. Today it is some kind of concept, right? Some kind of idea that you feel you are valuing it quite high, that it might return, rewards from the society. That is the premise for all intellectual property. But as I said, we are talking about patents. Okay, so why should you protect? See, as I said, if the society finds it interesting that whatever knowledge you are creating and letting them know in advance, you are indicating, it's like you are showing that you are writing something. In a way, you are publicizing. It's also a publication. By the way, in a simplest form, you may say even patent is a publication. It's a different style, different form of writing, and also has some protections. It has some incubating period. So there are issues with this, how it gets published. But in a way, it's a kind of dissemination of your intellectual work. So as I said, if there is a market value tomorrow, before it gets in the hands of anybody and everybody, because things can be copied, things can be, inspired. People may look at this and have their own, implementation. So in that case, before it gets too public, too kind of, if I say street talk of the street, if you could register it, if you could do it in a country, of course, it has a country and territory issues also. So once you file a patent, it is not protected over the whole world. So there is no universal patent protection. So all these reasons are indicative that you may at least choose priorities of territories, which region you may find the society will have benefits. And once the society gets benefits of your intellectual work, they may like to, when there is a commercialization, there is a possibility that some commercial returns come back to the individuals, institutions, and teams who have contributed. So this is all about why, I mean, we can talk about this later on also, but this is the initial point. So why it has become important? Globally now, you have seen now, you have seen vaccines being imported, exported, products being imported and exported all over the world. And there is a possibility that once a product goes to other country, reverse engineering may also be possible. They may look at the product and try to decode it. So there is a possibility that you might have published, you might have made an international presentation. There may be a video already from you on a YouTube channel or Facebook or whatever. So the whole globe has a lot of information. And if you are too tempted to share your ideas, there is a possibility that others may use your publication or some product or a mix of the two together and then just develop something again new, some based on your concept. They may develop almost the same thing or in a different, slightly different, but then you may feel in a very crying situation that your intellectual values have not been compensated. So that's the point of reminding again why it has become globally, industrially, institutionally also important, not just important from students or faculty or industry point of view. So it's largely becoming important. Now, by the way, also giving you a kind of caution here that very little of the ideas that people have, whether they are in industry or university or any place, very little of that gets actually incubated and commercialized. So if you see, the figure is just 4.8%. I mean, these figures vary. Long ago, I had heard this. In Japan, it was something about 2%. They say very small percentage of IPR gets commercially, viable and returning, huge, sums of financial returns to the institution or the teams that, protected. But that should not be deterrent. It is just to say that, see, initially, whatever publications, whatever ideas people have, even in industry, they say 23% of the ideas get really valued by others. Then out of that, 53% of them really get into acceleration. Acceleration means they get some funding support, right? They get some initial seed money or whatever. You will find that there are terms for funding. Then 85% of them further who are given some acceleration really pitch the society. Pitch means finally production scale, venture comes in for, well, that's a good percentage. And finally, out of that last 85, 46% of them really hit the market. They reach the incubation stage and then commercialization to the society comes. So if you multiply all these factors, you will find this comes out to be a very small value. But that if you are one of those 4.8%, then you can imagine they say, and that is what I had read in for Japan, or that is true for any country, then they return the same efforts of many patents that you had filed. So it's like that. So the ratios are small, but the returns are 100 times. So that 4.8% recover the costs of rest of the 95% patents filed. So this is how a kind of methodology about what gets, commercialized or how much of that gets commercialized. But then that doesn't mean people should stop filing patents or protecting patents, but protecting their ideas. So now what is a patent? So a patent is a right. So it's a kind of legal right granted to inventors to prevent. So it's more a negative power. So in a way, this right doesn't give you anything. It's like you have bought a plot, which will, grow in terms of money. But then you have put the money actually. There's nothing return immediately coming or visible. So, but the only thing is you are stopping others to have a building on that plot. So that is as good as that. So patent is like a plot where you have registered on your name that one fine day you will make a plot, you will make a building on it and then make money out of it, or you will sell it to others, license it to others, etc. So it says within a particular territory. So there is a territory means there is a spatial limit. If it is protected in India, so it is not protected in USA for a limited time. So it is time limited, place limited, people limited. People limited anyway, inventors are the people behind it. And does not guarantee the freedom to exploit the invention. This doesn't mean once you have filed that everything will follow you. No. By filing a patent or even getting it granted doesn't give you anything. It's just, as I said, buying a plot. You have to work on it. You have to make money out of it. You have to make value out of it. You have to make how the society can be, made to serve through these intellectual ideas. So that is what it is patent wise. Now it's a negative right. As I said, it is a negative right. You are stopping others. It's like you are putting a boundary. You are not letting anybody come to your boundary because it is your plot. You're not letting anybody do anything on that plot. That is what it is. Of course, it's already stated patents are territorial. So as I've already stated, it has limited time, 20 years of date of publication. Positive right restricted by previous patents. If you have some other patents previously, others may also stop you. So if you have a patent, you have a negative right. Other patents also have a negative right on you. So you also cannot infringe on others' work. So if you have registered a plot, there may be plots nearby. So other people may also have protected. So you should also not be encroaching on their boundaries. So it's basically a freedom to operate in terms of market and practice. Practice in the sense what you make out of it. Practice means practical work out of it. So you practice and make use of it and make use of it towards services or products to serve the society. So this is a freedom to operate. Within your region, you are free. Within others' region, you are bounded. And in a way, you are binding others also to come to your territory. That is what we mean by patent. So it's a contract. So if you are bored with the technological legal terms here, it's more looking like a contract. Patent rights are granted in return for the inventor's full disclosure. So now whatever you disclose, it's like it's your declaration. If you do not know how to write a patent, if you do not know how to write a claim for the patent or number of claims for the patent, if you do not know how to expand your writing in terms of your size of the plot, if I say what we call embodiment. So if you do not know writing well, then you will be given grant only on that. So it's the language of the patent, writing of the patent, whole writing of the patent, what we call disclosure. Disclosure is like declaring. Like in you join an institution, you declare that you have a family, you have a wife, you have children, everything. If you don't declare certain things about your family, the institution doesn't take care of that member of the family. So it's like that. So accordingly, so you must be able, you need to have a skill for writing such patent. So because you are protecting others, you are preventing others to come to your boundary. So therefore, writing defines the territory or technical territory of your patent as to how big, how vast you can encompass your ideas to be exploited in the future. So it's a kind of agreement with the government. So once you give the writing in terms of disclosure, the government ensures that that information, that part of the document publication writing that you have made is publicly disclosed. It's like registered on your name. That means others will not be able to enter in that area. So that invention itself is available for, so then it becomes publicly, actually this becomes a public document. After 18 months, in most countries, you will find that it is made public. That means they give you, okay, legally you have the rights, and for others, not to enter into your rights, so it is made public. So it's a publication. People can look at it and they can find out ways to avoid from it, or they can take views to buy from you. They can pay you for that license if they find it critical for their application, or they can copy in some other country where you might have not protected. So many possibilities exist, but that's the contract which has a limitations set of limitations also. Now, now this is now rest of it is more to motivate, academicians and other researchers to see how and why we generate a patent. What are the conditions? First, I share few things about how individuals can work on it, how to motivate them, how to bring them towards this, patent writing. Then I'll show a case. As I said, two cases that we had experience of our own filing. We have, in fact, not 20. I have 22 patents granted now, but I'll share a few cases which are my PhD scholars' work. Now, this diagram shows that, let us not be routine centric, that we are happy with whatever is happening, chalta hai, it's all whatever is going is fine. Then there is no innovation, there is no novelty, there's nothing new in it. Then you don't gain anything. So the research itself starts with gap analysis. When you do research literature survey, similar to literature survey, there is a prior art. We do similar writing on patents also. So something called prior art. So whatever is going on, you must be able to see what is that society still suffering? What is that can be new to help the society do better? So therefore, even if people speculate, as you see here, you need to even conduct experiment to satisfy them. Even a student satisfies the supervisor. A supervisor motivates the student. Even among your team, within you yourself, you will find when you propose an idea, the student doesn't appreciate. Or when the student proposes an idea, you don't appreciate because you speculate. You are worried whether this idea is really worth or not. So therefore, the point is from the routine operational cycle, we need to learn to move to new cycles where new things are tried, experimented, right? Constructive reviews are taken and the new solutions are made. And once the new solutions are made, if this whole process is really critically, honestly, diligently, as they say, due diligence is followed, then whatever new solutions you make, and if there is enough, we'll put some conditions on patenting, you will find that such ideas can be helpful to serve the society. Now, again, how the sequence of society and environment comes into it. So now I'm broadening the scope of how creativity happens in an institution, how ideas can be realized, how they can be converted to technology. So an idea from a student or a faculty or group of people, small team members comes in. Then, as I said, invention becomes a patent. So if it can come in the form of a patent, then we call it an invention. So it's an invented work. Then there is further requirement of innovation. The invention or a patent per se will not generate a product or a service. There is a lot of innovation required. That means still more steps are required. More inventive steps are required to build a product or a service out of patent. Then even when that product is made or a service is generated, it requires a lot of incubation. Incubation in the sense it needs to be scaled, it needs to be seen, it needs to be tried and given a feedback. So there's a lot of forward feedback, forward and backward kind of feedback will go on. So there are some iterations during the incubation process and then the impact comes in. So as I said, there are stages. You will see this linear steps given for comfort of understanding as if idea becomes an impact over a period of time and lot of resources. At the moment, I have shown as if there are 5 stages or 4 to 5 stages, but actually we'll see there are 9 stages, 10 stages. You will see later on the details of how each step actually takes number of steps, sub steps. So basically, let us not be obsessed by the ideas. The ideas come from the environment, ideas come from the society. Many times you look at the society, look at the environment, and breed some new ideas. So there is one should not assume that the ideas come in the mind. The ideas come in the mind through inspiration of society and environment, the environment in which you live. Okay, so what is idea to invention? So I'm talking about only about invention now. The idea, there are three conditions that must be met before a patent is granted. It must be novel, number one. It must have inventive steps. So merely having an idea, I can go to Mars, I can do something on Moon, I can do something on Mars, Sun, we can do something with Sun, we can have Sun energy, blah, blah. People may have hundreds of ideas. So barely they say ideas are, they say 100 a dime. That means in one rupee, you can have 100 ideas. So therefore, at the idea level, there's nothing, no value to the ideas in general. But if you put it in terms of novelty, that means you put a contrast with the prior art, what previously work has been done. And if you add some steps, some few baby steps, initial inventive steps towards development of that idea, towards service or a product, then those steps become necessary elements of a patent to be granted. So there are at least few steps in the beginning. You can assume three minimum steps required to show that your idea really has reached a value of generating some example. It's like some examples to be shown that under these conditions, this idea works. So you need to create some lab work similar to the research work. And then, of course, it must be advantageous, useful to the society. It must have an application in the society. So these three steps are what the examiner looks at it. And anywhere you will find one of them missing, the patent is not granted. They will find holes in any one of these. Normally, they find holes in inventive steps. They will find that you have copied here and there from different papers or different patents. Even if you are novel, many times they say, yeah, you have novelty, but you don't have inventive steps. Or if you take a crazy idea which has no advantage to the society, if you say, I'll make an explosive which will destroy the whole world in 1 minute, then such ideas do not get patented. So there is another destructive, there are things that cannot be patented. Those things are also there. Now I'll show you these two patents, my two PhD scholars. I'll just show this. You can see one see, after their PhD was allotted, their patent got granted. So 2019, Abhishek Gupta's patent got granted in 2019. Bala Nilappu's patent got granted in 2020. After 1 year exactly, you will see. And of course, this Gupta's patent, Abhishek's patent took a long time. We had a lot of fight with US patent office. I mean, it was a long legal fight. But then the other patent came very much like a cakewalk. The second patent that was in June 20 came back. So I'll show you the positive sides, which had little of experience on the one which is June 20 patent. Now look at this. What do they say? This is the kind of allowance, when they find that your patent is allowed. So it has initial indications. You can see somewhere it was in some date given here. Yeah, October 18. No, that was filing, sorry. Somewhere there must be a date. Somewhere in, yeah, you will see other date. Maybe in the next page, you will see some dates. So this was some indications given to us that it is allowed. It is being allowed. Now, what is that? What is the explanation? How? Now, if I show you, I'm just showing you the positive side, how and why a patent is granted. So, and this patent had a problem. We had an issue that this patent had a publication. So, as I said, PhD scholars need publications also. So this patent was filed in the very beginning of early stage of the students when there was no publication. After filing the patent in India, this was filed in within 1 year. It was filed in USA. Now before it was completely processed in USA, within that 1 year period, a publication appeared on the 11th month. So we were wondering whether that publication will become a problem or not. So we asked our attorney in India whether this would be an issue. They did not reply till the whole process was done. After doing their business, after filing that patent in US, Then they responded to us after a long time saying that this will be treated as prior art. Prior art means this is considered as previous knowledge. So it may hit the novelty. So now see now, despite these worries, how detailed examination report can reveal how nicely it went despite our worries. Now, look at this. It says the prior art fails to reach the methods of claim 1. That means the examiner first hit claim 1. Claim 1 means or the system of claim 2. So majorly there were system claims and the primary claims. So basically there were two parent claims, claim 1 and claim 10, in which they said there are some technical details here. I'm just highlighting that he hit on the basic parent claims 1 and 10. He first gave that view. So now have a quick view what it is. Now, what does he say? I'm not giving you details of because there was a paper. So he showed what are the issues. He gave those issues. These are the issues that computer implemented method, determining the area of this and that. So these are some technical details I'm avoiding so that you find it interesting only on the case. Now, what does he say? Why he is allowing this patent then? He says these limitations or their equivalents were recited in independent claims 1 and 10, making them allowable subject matter. So he says there is an issue, but still dependent claims 2 to 9 are dependent upon claim 1 and claims 11 and 18 are dependent on claim 10 and encompasses the limitations specified in the independent. Again, it may be boring for some of you. Then what is he saying? Is it a good news or a bad news? You have to learn to see whether a legal news such as this is good enough. Look at the original title. The original title is it is allowed. That means it is granted. Now he is giving the whole reasoning. It is like a judgment. Why and how this particular patent is granted. And so what was the problem? Why are we showing this case? Now look at this again, the highlighted area with respect to the claimed limitations. So there are limitations. The claimed features were inventive. Now he's coming to the positive side, how it is inventive. Even if there was a paper or if there were problems, how it is inventive. The claimed features were inventive in that it utilizes a three-step process. Can you see that? He could see that there were three inventive steps for blah blah segmentation of something and everything. So he could see the inventive steps in the patent writing. Now again, this is not yet clear whether it is okay or not in an iterative process. So he says there are iterative processes which three steps are there, three inventive steps which really solve the problem, solve the problem. Blah, blah, blah. None of the references cited, now you can say none of the references cited were found to have taught the method recited in claim 1. Now he himself is saying that whatever was the previous work, none of them taught. Now they use the term taught. And you see the taught here, have taught the method. So he secured our method given in claim 1, saying that no previous literature, it's like no previous guru, teacher taught this student the method of this patent. So he secured our claim 1 method, in claim 1, further recited in claim 10. Okay. Then there are other literature he's citing, which was part of the previous work. Now, what does he say? Now, this was the series. This is something that I want you to see. And then this will be a conclusion for this part of the presentation. Now, he caught our publication. This is the publication. See, we published in 2017. And it was a journal publication. He caught hold of that paper, which we were worried. He says, referred to as Nilappu is the name of the student. He says Nilappu does disclose many of the features recited from the invention, but actually constitutes the applicant's own work. See the softness of the US examiner, that it is applicant's own work and as a result does not qualify as prior art. So he says if the applicant's own work is coming as a publication, you might have seen in US, even if you have a publication, they do grant patent. Even if it had not been filed in India, if it were a US patent, We might have filed in the time the way we filed in India. Within that period, our publication might have come before 1 year. They would have still allowed the publication. So he gave in spirit the benefit of exactly what they give to US citizens. They gave the same because they knew it was filed in India, although it was not filed in US, but they knew it had a priority of Indian rate. So he says, because it is their own publication, so it is not considered and cannot be used in a rejection against the instant application. Additionally, further, he gives positive view. Additionally, certain features for the manner and process of implementation are further refined in the written. So he says he gave a positive pat on our back that further this patent is written in a more elaborate manner, more like a patent and elaborated as a patent. So such a disclosure and as such fails to anticipate the obvious. Now look at this language, and such fails to anticipate or obviate the claimed limitations. Oh, this language you may not understand whether it is a negative language. So he's just telling us that it is everybody will fail to find it obvious from the publication. So it's not obvious from the publication that this patent would come. So he's just giving us the what we call novelty is also called obviousness, non-obviousness. So he's telling us that it is non-obvious from their publication that such a patent can be written. Now this is what is the concluding part. As a result, the claimed language, which is highly dependent upon the claimed limitations, is not taught by the prior art alone or in combination. He says no previous patent or publication individually or collectively. So there's a lot of negative language here to give us the positive right that there's no previous work that enters into this territory. So this is what it is his report in a way why this patent should be granted. Look at this detailed. It was 5, 7, 10 pages, I think. It is more than a patent that they write reasons for allowance. So you can imagine it's a legal battle. We didn't have much to fight on it actually. For this patent, we had no fight. It was a cakewalk for us. But when we saw the details of how and why it was allowed, we really appreciated how detailed language they use when they grant a patent. So this was about the experience. Now, also to let you know, a few more slides and then we can have discussion. Maybe I have 1 hour, I think. Is it up to 2 o'clock? Is that okay, madam?
Yeah, sir, it's up to 2 o'clock. At 2, we have another eminent personality, Mr. Karan Puri.
Okay, so I'll take few minutes and try to wind up. So basically, it is just to tell you the TRL, these are just to tell you that in Europe, they follow this model that whatever you do is actually 1, 2, 3. Basically, all your PhD or any project or any research in India or anywhere when it is public funded or even the first level is only up to what we call POC, proof of concept. So you can see TRL3 says applied research. That means whatever you do does not go beyond proof of concept TRL3. Now you can see TRL 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 have not been achieved. So even at patent level, it is not more than TRL3, whether it is publication or paper. That's why in India, we are repeatedly going 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. And many times I talk in various institutions that you are not going beyond the count of 3. Your students do not know the counting beyond 3. They only know, it's like a child who doesn't know counting beyond 3. At least the child should know counting with 0 to 9 before the child can learn the whole numbers game. So this is what just to tell you that these are the limitations of institutions. And now further, many ideas that faculty may have, like TRL 0, 1, 2, 3, they may like to push to the industry for commercialization. Or many times, if you publish a patent or a public or a paper, industry may come to you and pull. So if you feel your ideas hit a particular industry, that is the power of publication of a patent. One of our another student, not my student, but in our institution, he filed publication and patent together. Then his work was seen by an industry, and the industry approached him for further collaboration and development of technology. So that is a pull thing. So basically, you must see that your publications have an impact. Not just global impact, but industrial impact also. Not just researchers look at your work, but see if industry also looks at your work so that they can pull up. If they pull up, then the development of technology will be their job. So they will develop before, after TRL 3, 4, 5, then they are, you know, they become your partners. Well, this is again the detail of how detailed process goes from technology level. One. There is another way of calling it 1 to 9. You may have 9 or 10 steps. This is another model. This is another reference which in US they follow another model. They follow 1 to 9, and then 10th is market introduction. In Europe, they follow 0 to 9. NASA has another, but these are minor variations. They all have, it's like a scale of 1 to 10 or 0 to 9, but they are all meaning that lab to market has number of steps involved. A lot of innovations are required before, proof of concept is achieved. After proof of concept is achieved, a lot of innovation, lot of more and more steps are required to make it useful to the users. That is just to tell you, academicians must come out of their, classrooms and labs and, collaborate with the institutions and work with industry. Right. So this is again technological readiness level or market readiness level. Initially, technology readiness level come in. So therefore, you will find even people use MRL term also. TRL have similar, market readiness also. You can see somewhere after TRL 5 or 6, you find that system can be considered towards market readiness. So therefore, technological readiness or market readiness are also the terms used. Now, this is just to conclude that to tell you that this is more what we call funneling process. As I told you, initially I showed you. So these ideas are many in the beginning. Only few ideas become proof of concepts. Many go back and fail. It's like a funnel. Can you see the funneling process here? Many ideas put in a funnel, very few ideas pass through product concepts, then very few will be experienced by the people. This experience testing means that some users are shown the concept. Some initial people, society elements are brought in to see whether the product ideas or service idea or the vaccination. You all have seen the pandemic gave you vaccination trials. So how few people are tested with vaccination? So experience testing is another thing. So when this passes through technology and market concepts, then there is a release possibility. Then there are few adopters that you see. Even when you introduce a product in the market or a service in the market, see, for example, similar to WhatsApp, there are many similar services available. But why you are using only WhatsApp? Why? There are some reason. That means it has been adopted by millions of people. For years and years, it has taken the acceptance of the society. So there's no other product or service which can replace this. So many times it becomes a monopoly also, right? So here is the concluding slide now. I think we may invite questions. I can leave it here. I have just given you concluding remarks that try protecting before publication. And also look for funding requirement. Your institution must be able to fund because there is a need for paying the fees for protection of IPR. And this may come from project funding if you have a project. Some projects allow you to have even funding for patents. Learn to write the language. There are a lot of techno-legal formalities. There are agents who do this job. There is an IPR cell requirement in an institution. Nowadays, with national education policy, there's always a cell for intellectual property in each institution, university, and there must be some guidance expertise available in the institute. The IPR once filed and granted also requires updating every year. So there is an annual fee to be made. So there is some funding required even after grant. And then if you are one of the 4.8% example that I gave you, if your institution and you together have really hit the jackpot, then maybe huge returns. If you are one of the developers, say for example WhatsApp, Facebook, Windows, iOS, I mean like that, then each Android, each mobile phone you use, every mobile phone pays for royalty on Android. royalty on to Apple. So huge royalty and other license fees, not huge actually, per person it is nominal. But when millions of mobile phones, computers and other devices are using particular operating system or an app, you know royalty falls back to the inventors. That's it from me. Hope you found it reasonably provoking. So thank you very much. I'm open to any questions, any issues. I can leave it here on this slide for any discussion and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sparing your time. I know that you are busy today because this week is being celebrated as IPR week. Anybody, any of the faculty on behalf of student, if you want to ask, you can ask any of your query, please. Yes, anybody? Anyhow, sir, I have one query because I'm dealing with two departments. One is agriculture and one is paramedical sciences, and they two are totally different wings. As far as agriculture, we know that the whatever agriculture research or publications are there, that can be we cannot patent them. Rather, we have some that they are the plant breeders' right or farmers' protection right. Sir, but we are not able to suppose one of the student of the PhD has done a very good contribution in the field of how the calcium is going to affect the soil fertility. Then how we can go for such type of patenting or such type of thing that can be done?
So is it experimented with some evidence that
Yeah,
there is a cause and
it's an experimented work. Yeah, sir, it's an experimented work, but the student has an industrial tie-up also. Can it be the copyright of that particular institution, or we can share that?
see who become the partners is your choice. It's your choice.
Okay, okay,
The
okay,
choice lies between who is contributing. It's like investing. In certain countries, they in institutions in Singapore, I'm knowing somebody there. She was telling that their institution doesn't participate in this protection. They say you pay for it protection wise,
okay,
and then you get returns also. These are your returns. So they don't get into this business. But if you want, if
okay, sir.
institution, industry, individuals, how they become partner to it, accordingly the consign it becomes assignee. If institution wants to pay for this, then institution is assignee. Industry wants to participate in the funding. So it's like you invest in a plot. Are you getting? Are you getting
Yes, sir.
the
Yes.
investment part? Is it a question on investment or whether it can be protected or not? What is the question?
No, I am getting whether that it can be protected or not.
See, on off the cuff, I cannot say whether it can be protected, whether it is really novel or not, whether it has inventive steps or not. It seems to have some utility. So what's the utility? So
Utility, sir, it's that
soil
that
gets
I can check. Yeah, it's impacting the soil fertility and binding capacity of the soil.
wonderful. Then so you better
Yeah.
write a claim, write set of claims, providing what are the ideas, what was the method that you used, right? What are the benefits
Okay.
and what are the steps made? Why?
Right, sir.
How did you achieve this? So if this there is a writing, so it's basically you need to see what is the prior art. People might have done already in the global sense. So patent cannot be granted if
Yeah.
somewhere else in some other country it has been done. See, the
Yeah, sir.
protection is local, but the prohibition is global. So nobody can say in India
Okay, sir.
nobody has done. Are you getting?
Okay, sir.
You cannot
Yeah,
say that
yes,
in
sir. Yeah.
India nobody has done. So there's no claim if nobody has done in India. It is done in the global sense.
Right, sir.
If haldi is
Yeah,
used
sir.
in India, haldi cannot be protected in USA also. Are you getting?
Right, sir.
If haldi has a
Yes, sir.
medicinal value, nobody in USA can say that we were the first to tell you that. But the
Okay.
protection is local.
Yes, sir.
So protection is in India, but the filing is in a way global. right? So if this
Okay.
work is truly novel,
Right.
if it has truly some inventive steps made and has benefits to the society, then it can be granted. And then writing is the process. I hope
Right, sir.
that
Right, sir.
gives you brief answer.
Right. It's okay. Right, right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sparing your time. I'm again thankful to you as well as to Dr. Paul. I stated in the beginning also that Dr. Paul has been always a support to me, especially to me, because he has always helped me. Even at the last moment, he's there to support us. And I thank you, sir, because time and again I bother you and get the knowledgeable information from you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. I'll leave now. There is another
May I?
present. I'll
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, yeah. May I request Dr.